episode 879, How Happiness Affects Your Health.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Staring at a stop sign, watching people drive.
Happy day. It is Wellness Wednesday, and I'm so excited that you are here. We're going to talk about something extraordinary, and that is how happiness affects your health. Oh, yes, there is a correlation to happiness, your joy, and well-being. We're going to make that connection for you. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you'll want to head on over to createyournow.com, where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. In a world of trends, how happiness affects your health can be the most beneficial trend you spend your time on. Happiness is the greatest trend you want to adopt. Everyone wants to be happy, don't you? Did you get up this morning going, yes, I'm going to conquer the world. I am Wonder Woman. I've got it all together. I am going to get done. All my to-do list, check, 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 check. Or was it more like, oh, it's another day. What am I doing? I hate my life. I just wish I could have my own time. I need a vacation. Or maybe you're somewhere in the middle. Happiness is the greatest trend you want to have in your life. We're all hopping from one thing to the next. We look at nutrition and we're like, what's the greatest diet that's going to keep me slim and fit? What exercise can I add into my fitness routine to keep me on point, to give me that cutting edge? But we sometimes forget the basics, the foundation, happiness. So what is happiness? Well, by definition, it's the state of being happy. Now, as a person who loves definitions, we can't stop there. We can't use the word happy to define happiness. So we got to break down happy. Happy is the feeling or showing of pleasure or contentment. So if you combine those two, basically what is happiness is the state of feeling or showing pleasure or contentment. Were you feeling that this morning? Are you feeling it now? Or has kind of the afternoon come and gone and you're like, oh, if only. Over the recent years, researchers like physicians and psychologists and even economists have tried to make the connection between joy and wellness. You know, I love to figure out equations of life and to keep it simple, right? We're all about the foundation and building that foundation. But the connection between joy and wellness, that connection is happiness. If happiness is that connection, then you making it a trend in your life would be a game changer. And we already know you're a game changer, so you're already on board, right? Of course you are. Just say yes with me. Yes, I'm on board. I'm ready to commit. So we got to start with some few questions. And I'm going to give you the questions because you got to give me the answers. It's a Q&A to self. Number 1, where are you now? Where are you currently? How good are you feeling? What's your starting point? Because you can always do better. Boy, I try to work on happiness all the time because I know the snowball effect of whether I'm not happy or whether I am happy. And I much prefer the snowball effect of happiness because when I'm on the other side, it's not so fun. So number 1, where are you now? And you got to answer these honestly. Now, I want you to think about this. So you may want to play this out and then come back to this point. And you can also refer to the show notes to sit there and look at the question so you can say, okay, let's pin this down. Where am I now? Number 2, how much does your past influence your present? In other words, where is forgiveness in your life? Whoa. Did everything just stop right now? You're like, I'm sure when I asked about your past influence in your present, you're like, oh, I've got this down. I have so forgotten the past. I left high school and college behind already. I am moving forward. Yet you still think about relationships back then. I'm not talking about the love relationships. I'm talking about the comparison. Where you're like, oh, I wish I was like her. I wish I would have done that. I wish I would have followed through all these what ifs in your life. And then we forget that the big portion of the past influencing our present is whether or not we allow forgiveness in our life. So be honest with yourself. Where's forgiveness in your life? So you got number 1, where are you now? Number 2, how much does your past influence your present? And number 3, when stuff happens, what is the tendency of your initial response or thought? Is it positive or is it negative? Now, what I'm asking you here is the tendency. Because sometimes, yes, we may jump to the other side, but there is a tendency of how you respond, where your thoughts initially jump to. Are you one that jumps to the, oh, woe's me, and you think everything, the world's going to come to an end and all of this? Okay, that's more than negative. If you're positive, we're like, oh, man, this happened, but you know what? Let's look on the brighter side. You know, I have less hassle, whatever the situation may be. Do you have a tendency to be positive or negative? You know that. Answer honestly. Now, for me, I look at my life and I'm like, okay, I know where I am now. And yes, I do have forgiveness in my life. Now, do I do both of those perfectly all the time? Of course not. I am human. I make mistakes every single day. In fact, I would go as far to say I make mistakes every single hour. I'm human. But then when I look at when stuff happens, what's my tendency? My tendency, honestly, is positive. I see the silver lining. That's the direction I go. Yes, I was raised that way. Now, do every once in a while I flip to the negative? Oh, yes, I do. But you're going to have that tendency. What is yours? Notice here that I'm not asking you to compare yourself to your spouse or even your mom or your best friend. The focus is you. These questions are for you. It's the Q&A to self. These are the self-reflection questions. So only you can answer them. Now, maybe you want some help with this. Maybe you're like, okay, I'm breaking it down, and you want to go a little bit further on how happiness affects your health. Click on the link, Take Aim, in the show notes. And that will begin our conversation, yours and mine. It's a complimentary coaching call. It's my gift to you. It costs you nothing. But you have to take aim. Action ignites motivation. I would love to come beside you and give you that opportunity to see what it's like to work with a life coach at no charge. You get it from me one time as a gift. So it's up to you whether or not you want to take advantage of it. So click on that link. I would love to receive your information. And some of you have actually recently sent me a couple emails saying, I tried to click on the link and the form's not working. I have checked it out. Yes, the link was down. So I apologize for that. But I did receive your email, and so yes, you'll be hearing from me very soon. I've been traveling, and so you will be getting an email here so we can set you up for that. I'm so excited. So now that we have the Q&A to self answered, we can go on and we can look at how happiness affects your health. There's a strong correlation to happiness and health, both in individuals and communities, and that community even means family. Yes, your family, whether it's of you and one other person, you, one other person, and another person, and another person, however big your family is, that's also your community. Sometimes we mistake the word community and think that it's got to be thousands upon hundreds of thousands of people, and it's not. It can be the world around you, your circle of influence. So there's a strong correlation to happiness in both individuals and in communities. So this is where the snowball effect is a great thing, where we talked about how happiness not just affects you, but affects those around you. You then want to make happiness a trend in your life. It's a game changer. Research supports and shows how optimism and laughter and positive moods are linked to greater health. Now you might be saying, I don't need proof to know that when I feel better, I act better, I know I look better, I have a smile on my face, and stress is not so stressful. Most of this is common sense, but it's not common practice. That's why we have to bring it back down to our foundation. What are we doing with happiness, and how does it affect your health? Well, here is the KISS, the Keep It Simple strategy. you've got to get on trend and be a happiness trendsetter. Are you ready to be a trendsetter? Maybe growing up, when you were in middle school even, let's go as far back as middle school. Maybe we could push freshmen in high school. Did you consider yourself a trendsetter? Well, today, that's where you're moving to. You're going to be a happiness trendsetter. So what does that look like? Well, we're going to break it down to 3 steps. I gave you 3 questions, basic questions to answer. Based off of those answers, you can then move into, well, how can I begin to make happiness affect my life and my health and better it? So then that snowball effect that ultimately happens, because I know it affects me, but then it also what affects the community around me, my family, my friends, even strangers. So what does that look like to be a happiness trendsetter? Number 1, you need to incorporate meditation, prayer, or worship. Research has shown that those who take part or experience spiritual or faith practices are happier. Think about it. You turn on that music. Now, I listen to all sorts of music. Some, not so much all the time. But I know enough about all genres of music to be dangerous. I wouldn't go as far to say I'm a hard rock fanatic. I'm so not that. I might be able to stand a few minutes of that. But I prefer to go more towards my country, my pop, my religious and faith-based structures and genres of music. Now, in saying that, that's not saying that one genre isn't another, because I love classical music too. But do I listen to it every single moment of my life? No. I also listen to jazz, but it's not one that I typically turn on all the time. It just depends on what I'm doing, what I want to accomplish. So when you think about how research has shown that with spiritual or faith practices makes you happy, there's something about that. Music does the same thing to you. That's why meditation, prayer, worship, that time of calming yourself, coming together, understanding that there's a greater power in control. You have to incorporate that into your life. That's how you become a happiness trendsetter. You got to incorporate it into your life. Now, maybe you do already, but maybe you don't. Where can you squeeze this in? Well, you could get up earlier. I know that means you got to go to bed maybe a few moments earlier. But if that doesn't work for you, if you're driving to work or you're taking the children to their activities, or you've got, like, this is the summertime right now, and maybe you're taking them to summer camp, instead of listening to the news, which most of the time now just drags us all down, stuff is happening and we really don't want to listen to it, turn on some music. Turn on something that's going to actually help you internally, to click on that happiness, to feed your soul. For me, it's my Christian music. I love that. And I love it in the morning. It feeds my soul. It sets me for a good day. Now, when you turn on some of that stuff, like I said, I may listen to hard rock. If you actually begin to break down like hard rock or like rap and things like that, and you listen to the words, well, if you listen to those words, what are they really saying? Because you may not really think, I'm not comprehending this and I really could care less, because it just all sounds like a bunch of babble. I'm just listening to them like pound the drums and yell and scream, and for some reason that helps me get rid of my frustration, which in actuality it may initially, but your subconscious is taking it in differently. So it's very important that you understand that. We're going to talk about music and how it affects you later in upcoming episodes. That's something that's very near and dear to my heart. But in order to do some basics when it comes to being a happiness trendsetter, you got to have that meditation, that prayer and worship. You can always make time for that. If you're running errands, turn off the country and put on something of faith. It's great for you. And if you're like, well, Christiane, that's not really me, that's fine. Find something that's uplifting. If you're going through a relationship challenge, and you turn on that country song that's talking about maybe affairs or divorce or breakups, that's not going to help your mood at all now, is it? So again, a lot of this is common sense, but not common practice. So incorporate meditation, prayer, and worship. Really think about what feeds your soul. Number 2, you need to wave your gratitude flag. I love that one, because we're so good at waving the complainer flag. It's all about me. what I didn't get today, what I didn't accomplish today, instead of going, you know what, there's a silver lining. And I saw something good in this, and I'm grateful for it. I saw God's hand at work in this situation. I may not necessarily agree with the outcome or the timing or whatever it may be, but there's gratitude there. Wave your gratitude flag. What are you grateful for? Because we got to stop the complaining, seriously. I mean, I know when I start complaining, it's like, oh, it's drudgery. And it's horrible. And then what happens? My kids start to do it. And I love them to death, but I hate to hear them whine. Well, what's worse than a whining child is a whining adult. So wave your gratitude flag. And finally, number 3, invest in relationships. If you want to be a happiness trendsetter, you've got to invest in relationships. Invest in your spouse. Invest in your child. Invest in a stranger. Invest in you. Invest in God. Seriously. When was the last time you said a prayer to him and said, God, I need you today. I don't know exactly what I want to pray or what I want to say, but I need you. And then just be silent. It's amazing what happens when you invest in relationships. There's this connection that's made. If research has shown that between joy and wellness, the connector is happiness, if that's the game changer, are you ready to let happiness become contagious through you? Wouldn't that be great that if you were the one to jumpstart that every single day in your circle of influence in the world that you touch? That would be fantastic. You would feel better. You know you'd look better. You'd stand taller. And guess what? You would accomplish more. That to-do list would shrink in half because you would actually get done what you want to get done. And you'd be like, I can conquer the world. You wouldn't need sugar because happiness will be your natural high. Well, this is sounding really good. It is really good, and it's really real. It's something that God has given us as a part of our life, our internal workings. But we got to practice it. We just can't okay, I'm just going to float through life. I'm just going to get on the boat and see where it takes me. La-ti-da-ti-da. That's great. If you have all the time in the world to maybe accomplish nothing. But if you want to be a little more structured, you want to be a game changer, you're a woman of impact, you're a man on a mission, oh, come on. Then be a happiness trendsetter. It's contagious. No more ohs, woe me. You want help with this? Like I mentioned before, click on the link, Take Aim. My complimentary coaching call is for you. It'll give you a taste of what it's like to work with a life coach. And I would love this opportunity to come beside you. Click on that link. Because you know what? I know you're a trendsetter. And you're going to be an amazing happiness trendsetter. Go out and give a huge smile to a stranger. Love on them like no one else can. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, love, and lots and lots of hugs. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.